Hello ladies, Sian Burton here, your marketing and scaling expert for female private practice owners. Today I want to talk to you about the fact that not everybody is going to be a good manager, including you. And that may not be what you want to hear this morning, but what you will take from today's sessions is that A, there's nothing wrong with that, and B, there are ways that you can navigate that and fill any spaces in your expertise that may exist. So one of the most common challenges that I see with the clients that I work with in Success Without Sacrifice is that they are really struggling to have their team pull together and do the things that they need them to do. They're lacking accountability in the team. They find it hard to delegate. Probably the most common one though is people say, I just don't understand why people can't do their job the way they're supposed to do it. You know, I just get on, I do my job. I wouldn't be doing all of this stuff and fluffing around. Like, why is it so hard for them? If that resonates for you, then give me like a thumbs up in the chat or say resonates in the chat, because it's really, really common. And I want to talk about the differences that can often occur in the way that we are wired and where our zone of genius is and where we are at our best. And I'm going to use myself as an example here, because I know many of you will look at me and my business and how I show up and think that I have this completely all covered. And I really don't always have it all covered. I just have figured out how to fill my gaps and to play to my strengths. And that's what I want you to take from this. We can't all be amazing at everything, and nor would we want to be, because it would be boring. So what I want you to think about, and this comes from a lot of the work that I've done in a model called the Working Genius model. If you haven't checked it out, I really recommend checking it out. I'm a bit of a fangirl about it. We're actually going to be talking about it a lot at my upcoming retreat in the Gold Coast next week. And essentially what the model talks about is that we all have working geniuses where we are naturally at our best, not just in business, but in life. So this goes way beyond like the Myers-Briggs and the DISC assessments. And it actually looks to how you show up in life. And then it looks at the areas that we're competent in. So things that we can do and we can do well when we need to, but that under pressure or under stress, we will not perform well in, because they're just competencies for us. And then it talks about frustrations. And these are things that if we really have to do, we can, but there's no way we're going to do them when we're stressed. And really, they're the things that drain us. So in my corporate life, before I had my daughters and had my business, I was a director of marketing. And from the outset, after I did my degree, I loved strategic marketing. And that is where you develop the core strategy for a business. So who is their client? What is the value proposition? Like, what makes them different? What makes them competitive? How should they price themselves? Where should they launch their business? What market should they be in? You can see why I get so excited about supporting you ladies in this space, right? But here's the thing. To be able to do that work and come up with strategy for a business, you have to be a head of marketing or a director of marketing, or at least a marketing manager to have autonomy to do that for a small area of the business. And here's the problem. To be in those roles, you have to manage people. You can't become a marketing manager without managing a team. And you will have all have seen this, like the higher up a business you go in that masculine hierarchy, the more responsibility you have to take up on and the more people you have to manage, because that is how the hierarchy works. If you want to rise through the hierarchy, there's people underneath you that you're going to have to manage. Now, that's great if you are naturally wired towards galvanizing people behind ideas, keeping them excited, supporting them with all the things they need, making sure everyone's happy. It's not so good if you are a person who likes to invent ideas and get stuff done. That's who I am. And so I found it so hard that to be able to invent ideas for the business and create strategies and then implement those strategies to create results, I had to manage people, because it was super stressful for me. And so I would have all this part of my job I really loved and was really great at, but then I would spend most of my time averagely managing my team at best, because I'm like, why can't you just go on and do your job? Why do you need so much support to do this? Why is this so hard? Now, I'm not that mean boss who ever displayed that to my team, though I would have been a totally different person to work for as opposed to someone who, for them, that's a genius. But that took so much effort and energy to show up kindly when I'm really in my head like, what is wrong with you people? And so I wasn't the best manager that they could have had. Was I the best strategic marketing person? I would like to say that I was. But because those two things are forced together, it made my job really hard. It made it way less enjoyable. And it wasn't the best outcome for my team. So how does this relate to you in your practice? Many of you will be wired the same way as me. And I've seen this because I've had clients do the assessment, that you come up with ideas, you solve problems, and then you get stuff done. That's how you created your business. That's how you've had the success that you've had. But if they're your strengths, then it's likely that whole soft and fluffy, gentle people piece isn't going to be one of your strengths. Because whilst there are some people who have those two together, and all power to them, because that is, like, I think, almost like the dream combination, it tends to be that you're one or the other, right? And I saw this play out where, particularly in the mental health space, it's highly unlikely that you will have, you'll be more likely to be those people things, those people geniuses, because you're in the mental health space and you're dealing with people. Whereas I find some of the more practical health disciplines like physical therapy and speech tend to be a bit more inventing, because they're more about inventing treatment approaches. So it's interesting how it plays out with what you choose to do. But the thing I want you to take from this is that just because you're not wired for something doesn't mean to say that you shouldn't be doing what you're doing and running a business and shouldn't have a team, because that's not the case at all. But it's that you shouldn't beat yourself up because those things are not things you're naturally good at. You know, I hear this all the time, I wish I was just a better manager. I should just be better with people. Well, if you were better with people, you wouldn't be maybe quite so good at solving problems. So let's instead focus on your strengths and look at instead, okay, well, if this is where I'm amazing and this is where I bring my value, then how about we find someone who can come in and bring that other piece, that piece around nourishing a team and supporting them and guiding them and holding them accountable. And so then you've got a dream team working together. It isn't about you doing everything. It isn't about you beating yourself up if you can't do some things well. It's about you identifying where your strengths are and then actively filling those holes that are not your strengths, so that combined you have a dream team that brings everything you need to the leadership of your business. And that's the thing I want you to take away from this, because I see so many women beat themselves up that they're not everything or the perfect boss, or, you know, I'm not the best business owner. Like, none of us are. There's not a single person running a multi-million-dollar business who is doing every part of that business. They've just got really good at figuring out what they should be doing and then bringing in the other people to fill those gaps. So that's what I want you to take from this. If you want to know more about the Working Genius model, I highly recommend Googling it and checking it out. It's amazing. It is the best model that I've found for understanding issues in culture and solving those issues, for increasing productivity in your team, for increasing team fulfillment and high performance, and for using to hire the right people too. It is an amazing model. And if understanding where your strengths are and knowing how to fill them to build that dream team is something you would like help with, then I really encourage you to book in a Feminine Way to Scale consultation so we can have a look at where your business is at, understand what your strengths and help you understand those, and then support you to figure out what you might need to put in place to fill some of those gaps. And then if it makes sense to you, we can share with you how we would help you to do that. So like I said, if you would like to do that, we will pop a link in the description so that you can book one of those calls in, and I'll also get the link popped in for the Working Genius so you can see that. Any questions, pop them below. Any comments? How was this helpful? Did it resonate? Did it give you some comfort? Let me know, because I'm always keen to hear what it brought up for you.